You're watching Global Trade This Week with Pete Mento and Doug Draper.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Global Trade This Week, coming to you live from the International Compliance Professionals Association in Orlando, Florida, the most magical place on earth. With me is my friend Doug Draper. Doug, where are you today?
I'm back in Colorado. My travels are over for March. I'm back in Colorado.
It's excellent.
I was laughing when you were saying that because I don't know if there's 12, this has got, I'm not going to say it, but 12,000 people. What's the name of the conference again? International
Compliance Professionals Association. There's thousands and thousands of us. We're so happy here. It's like the Comic-Con, dude. It's the one place you get to go where everyone accepts you, they understand you.
Yeah.
You have conversations with people who understand your language. You can speak Klingon here. It's totally cool.
Yeah.
And we're the cool kids, unlike a lot of other places that we go to. We're the cool kids. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to go more than 5 seconds without someone interrupting me. So just be ready for that. Okay.
Yeah. You know what? I think you just nailed it there. The Comic-Con reference and Klingon speaking, all that stuff.
Well, hold on, Doug. To be fair, at TPM last week, it was the same thing. It's like Comic-Con for transportation professionals. So don't get too cute. All right.
I'm not going to. I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
I know
TPM.
Yeah.
TPM is massive and it's super important, and I understand all that, but don't get it twisted. It's still a giant transportation nerd fest, buddy.
Yeah. You cut out for a second, people. We'll make this thing happen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I sure can. Yep.
All right, cool.
I'm ready to go.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's just get this party started then with these topics. I know we've been tight in time the last couple of weeks, and so I'm sure some of our listeners are excited to hear that they don't get to have us ramble on forever. But you know what? I'm trying to think of the good intro here. I thought that Panama was just a kick-ass song that Van Halen put out when I was in high school. But actually, it's a big topic that you and I are both talking about this morning. So BlackRock and MSC created a separate division, and they're going to be purchasing the Canal operations from C.K. Hutchinson for $22 billion. Ironically, you and I spoke maybe a month ago about CK, and they are technically Hong Kong-based terminal operator. But, the spin here in America was, military influence. We're not getting a fair shake on the fees to go through the Panama Canal. And it looks like something transpired to make that change. So the Panamanian government still has to vote on it. That's probably a rubber stamp type of thing. But, yeah. And, by the way, everybody says it wasn't politically motivated. Bullshit. Oh, sorry about that, Pete. I was just clearing my throat. I don't know. It's like nobody knew there was a problem down there until like 6 weeks ago. And then it was identified, called out, and now we're kind of running the show down there with MSC. It's just, it's interesting. So I don't know. What's your take on that?
Well, my take is very similar to yours. There's a great line by Stalin, of all people. The strong do what they will, and the weak accept what they must. And I think this is an excellent situation where the weak have accepted what they must. There's no way in our hemisphere we were going to let the Chinese control that. No way. And, I wanted to piggyback on what you were saying about the politics of it. It's the geopolitics of it. Right? The fact that such a large, massive trading partner like the United States was dipping their toe into Latin America, which, when we do it, we tend to get what we want, and saying this will change. And that's precisely what happened. It did change. I had put down that on today's topic, I want to talk about the CNAC GM support of infrastructure. $20 billion is nothing to sneeze at. It would take you and I quite a while to get through that with concert tickets and Taco Bell, $20 billion.
Yeah.
But this ocean company has said they're going to put a $20 billion investment into infrastructure. What I think our listeners need to understand is the incredible amount of capital required to open ports, manage ports, operate ports, upgrade ports. $20 billion is not a lot of money when you look at it in that terms. It is, I mean, it's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But $20 billion isn't going to make a dent in the infrastructure problems we have with our ocean freight infrastructure. I'm
Mhm.
so happy to hear that we apparently have our arms around the issue in Panama. Go team, winning, right? But if we're going to take a look at our own infrastructure, it's going to take more than $20 billion. Here's a hot take, Doug.
Yeah.
I think the president is going to go to all of these ocean carriers that he's threatened to put a $1.5 million fee on every time that they visit an American port. And I think he's going to tell them, I need a similar investment from you. So now he's going to have Maersk and Costco and Evergreen all chipping in $20 billion. You're talking about some real money at this point. You're talking
Mhm.
about probably, 150 billion dollars. Now we're talking. Now we can actually get some infrastructure improved in this country.
Yeah. No, I think you nailed it right there. Right. Let's just get our let's get our footing set up down there. We meaning, the U.S. Partnership with MSC, and then let's have other people assist, if not pay for all of the infrastructure. Like you said, 20 billion is a lot of money, but
Not really.
gosh, you're just going to piss that away in a heartbeat. Not piss it away. I mean, it's not going to go as far as anybody
Yeah.
thinks. Maybe in our
You could
industry.
probably you could probably improve and modernize one middle-sized port pretty damn well for $20 billion. You could rework Savannah or rework Portland or Seattle in a pretty incredible way with that kind of money, but it's not nearly enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this certainly won't be the last time we talk about this one, right?
It will not.
BlackRock's an investment, one of the most powerful, if not the largest.
Real estate,
Yeah.
yeah, an investment, right?
I mean, they know what they're doing, right? This isn't
They sure do.
hap chance that, oh, this looks like a good investment, right? So there's ulterior motives and things. Well, maybe not ulterior motives, because I think it's genuine what we spoke about, but it's not the last financial play to get the infrastructure dialed in down there, which is what we need. And that's to your point.
Yes, sir. Well,
Yeah.
that brings us to halftime, brought to you by our friends at Cap Logistics.
Yep.
Doug, we've got some bangers this week. There's going to be some anger, I got a feeling.
Yes. So I'll jump in first. This is Monday after daylight savings time, right? And so there's been a debate for years and years and years about the benefits of it. Why do we do it? Some people say it was related to the farmers. Some say it was related to energy conservation during the war. Other people are saying other things. But the bottom line is, however it came to fruition, it's here, it's now. And
Right.
Here's my take on daylight savings time, right? I love the fact that there is more light in the evening. People get up, especially in the East Coast, Pete. My take being in the mid or being in mountain time is that everything starts a little later. It's like a 9 to 5 world. And then a lot of activity after business hours. So number one, I like the fact that it's lighter later, right? I think there's value in that. And the other thing, I guess that's really my main thing. I like it. I like daylight savings time. I'd rather be in this time frame than standard time. The one thing I want to call out, Pete, is all the things you see and talk about. Oh, the productivity of the U.S. drops off X percent for the week following, and it's horrible, and da da da. I'm like, that is bullshit. Has anybody taken a flight like in the last? I mean, you went from California to Florida, right? You just jumped 3 time zones, right? You may be a little groggy, but your productivity didn't drop. It may have dropped from all the alcohol that's been consumed. Um, but that's a joke. I hate it when people say, "Well, we shouldn't have it because the productivity of America takes a takes a beating." So I don't know. The last piece, Pete, is this is no joke. I'm not even kidding. I moved our clocks forward on Friday night because I need a little extra time to assimilate. And I'll do the same thing in November whenever we pull the clocks back. So anyway, daylight savings time. Do you have a comment?
Yes, it's bullshit. I hate it. I hate it deeply. And for a guy that bounces time zones every week, I've been in California every week now. This would be my 5th week that I have to go back. 3 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hours, right? It is exhausting. It's
Oh,
exhausting. It's exhausting. Doug, I'm working 80-hour weeks right now. Don't even start with me. All right. So then on top of that, having to get up at 5 a.m. for calls at 8 a.m. on Eastern Standard Time, and then working until 8 o'clock at night. I'm in a lobby right now to make this work. Okay. What really pisses me off with daylight savings time, look it up. It's a real statistic. About 300 people die in America the days completely following that daylight savings time because of accidents that happen, anxiety and stress and heart attacks that are directly related to daylight savings time. It's gone past its usefulness. Ready for a hot take, Doug?
Yeah.
I think we should pull a China. One time zone, whole country. One time zone. That's it.
Mm.
Yeah. You just happen to go into work a little bit later when the sun comes up. I don't care. One time zone, whole country. It's lived out its usefulness. Threshers and harvest equipment works in the dark. The hell with it. I'm over it.
Wow. Well, you're tired, Pete, because you travel so much. All things being equal, right? Moving a time zone or two time zones. Hey, I'm not saying you're not tired, dude. Your schedule is insane. It's just amped up to the 10x since January 21st for sure. But it's your work schedule that creates your
Thanks for
stress,
mansplaining
not the
that to me,
time
Doug.
zone. What?
Thanks for mansplaining that to me, Doug. I know you live my life. You live my life. You go through what I go through. So thank you for letting me know, that that's exactly what's happening. And when I
Yeah.
start traveling to Europe in a couple of months, right, in Asia, that won't be a big deal, right? It's just going to be a 7, 8 hour time swing. Bro,
Yeah.
I have never worked so hard and been so miserable in 31 years of doing this shit than I am right now. And on Monday, when I woke up and I realized I lost an hour's sleep, I wanted to kick a hole through the drywall and let it top. So, yeah, this is probably the wrong year to ask me. Maybe last year I would have been a little happier about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, I don't care. F your sunshine, F your sleep patterns. It's stupid. One time zone. Let's just start acting like the rest of the world.
Wow. That's a bold statement. Is that a
Yeah.
rabbit with crossbones on it on your shirt?
Yeah, man. Psycho Bunny, fabulous brand. I encourage everyone to check them out. Excellent brand.
Yeah.
All
Nice.
right,
All right. We didn't
my
even fit. What's that?
my halftime's gonna is really pissed me off, Doug. There's no other way to put this. So as has been mentioned a couple of times here, I live on airplanes. I'm constantly in airports. So I treat myself, Doug. I spend the $600-700, whatever it is, every year, and I get myself the lounge access because American Express doesn't have an agreement with American Airlines. So I treat myself. I get myself that lounge access. And yesterday, I realized that I had to re-up my membership.
Hmm.
So I'm at Dulles National Airport, and I walk in there, and I'd like to re-up my access for the. Oh yeah, of course, sir. Listen, before you do, could I show you the American Express Citibank card? If you get it, then you'll be a member for a year. I said, no, thank you, but no, I'm perfectly fine. Well, I don't think you understand. So this is the second time. The second time. I don't think you understand the benefits of this. I mean, you get 75,000 miles on your first purchase. You'll have free access to $700 savings. And I said, I really appreciate that. I really do. But I have no need for a credit card. And I don't really care about some additional benefits. And so he takes out a little card and he puts it on the desk and goes, why don't you just take a minute to read this? And I looked at him and I said, I will not. So do you have any idea what my time is worth? I bill $1,600 an hour. And do you have any idea how much money you're wasting that I could be in there answering emails on? He said, I just, I think it's important that that's the fourth time. That's the fourth time he's tried to sell me this. And uh, he said, okay, just can I have your credit card, please? And I pay for it. Now, if it had ended there, Doug, it would have been fine.
Hmm.
Okay. He hands the card to me in my face. It says, I really think you should read this because you can still get a refund of this. And I said, why don't you try doing what you're supposed to do, which is check me into the goddamn club, take my ticket, and let me get some coffee. It'd be great if American Airlines stopped acting like a bank. It stopped acting like a resort. It stopped acting like a cruise line and acted like a goddamn airline. Now there's a line behind me now, and I don't care. Pete's going full Pete Mento.
Yeah.
So that's 5 times you've asked me to take a look at this, and 5 times I've had to tell you no. I said, have you heard of the term consent? It's feeling real uncomfortable right now between me and you. I railed on this guy, Doug. No word of a lie for 10 minutes.
Whoa.
10 minutes. He got both barrels of angry Pete Mento, and I wouldn't let it go. And then I wrote a long, angry email last night to American Airlines. Listen, get my flight there on time. How's that for something to ask for? It never seems to fucking happen. That's number one. Number two, I'm the highest tier you can be in American Airlines, right? Maybe you should upgrade me every once in a while. Doesn't seem to happen all that often. I was beside myself. So I want to give a big raspberry to my preferred and only air carrier, American Airlines, for wasting so much of my time yesterday trying to sell me a credit card that I and no one else needs. 25% interest rate. It's like usury, for God's sakes. Sorry, I told you I was going to get fired up, Doug. I'm real angry about this one.
I know. Sorry about that. I had some other things to say on this, but I'm going to scrap all that because the one thing that got through my mind when you said the guy went twice, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
third time. I would have asked if this guy was in freight sales, worked for a freight forwarder, and if he had not, see if he wants to come over and make some money because that's impressive. That
Yeah. Well,
is
Doug,
classic.
because I couldn't let it go, I was on Reddit last night. It turns out people get a bonus. These employees of American Airlines get a bonus for signing people up for credit cards. They get bonus for
Mhm.
taking people's bags and putting them in the belly of the airplane instead of letting you carry them on board. They are financially backed. Show me the incentive, I'll show you the behavior. So this guy works there. I'm going to see him again, and I can't wait to make his year miserable. He's going to wish to God that he was on the desk at every single Zoom at the time I'm
Uh,
signing.
uh. So, well, give the guy a break. He's doing his
No,
job, right? You
no,
railed him once. Just shoot him a
no,
Pez and walk on by next
no.
go around.
Do you know what I'm gonna do next time, Doug? You're right. I'm going to try to sell him customer brokerage in airfreight.
Hell
He
yeah.
doesn't need it. I'm going to sell it to him anyway.
I
All right,
love it.
Doug.
All
All
right.
right. What's our next topic?
Yep. We'll keep this party moving forward. Mine's related to air cargo, right? And everybody's talking about how it's dropped off. It's a slow start in 2025. And this was actually a topic of mine a couple weeks ago that we didn't get a chance to talk about because of all the tariff changes and everything that have become priority on this show. But here's the deal with first quarter. We talked about it's the quiet period, and you and I at the beginning in February were like, this seems to be the silent period because it is had freight volumes and things have gone very, very quiet. So I'm like, listen, all right, you got Q4. It's going to go bananas for obvious reasons. You got Lunar New Year, which I believe happened a little bit earlier this year
Yep.
than in the past. So that had a little bit of an impact right out of the gate of Q1. And I think everybody just needs to kind of relax a little bit, right? I think it's too early to see if the 301 and the de minimis and all those things are going to have an impact, right? They were off, then they're on, then they're off again, now they're on. So I think people are going to stay the course. If I was a business and I was taking advantage of the de minimis rule, I would be full bore and I would be operating as long as I can in that environment. In the back, coming up with a plan B for sure, but I'm not changing my strategy. So I don't think this is consumer buying habits changes. I think it's just the natural evolution of Q1 and how things are slow. And I really think that the Lunar New Year coming a little bit early had an impact. But you shouldn't really, don't freak out, right?
Yeah.
The capacity. So last two things on this, right? So the capacity is outpacing demand. So I think that's going to be beneficial if you're using this service. It's going to be cheaper, right? And the other thing is people are not going to sign long-term contracts to get their product from A to B. They're going to be a little hesitant. They're going to wait and see, right? But until that, the concept of taking advantage of de minimis, the fast fashion, all that kind of stuff is not going to really change a whole lot because there's too much fluctuation. Don't sign a long-term contract. Keep your business moving forward in this model and come up with a plan B. That's the transpired for Q1, in my opinion.
I agree, Doug. I don't remember if it was you who said it to me, but someone recently said to me, patience is less expensive. No, panic is more expensive than patience, right?
Yep. Yeah,
That's
we
the
talked
line.
about that.
And I think this is another excellent illustration of how just freaking out right now, it's not going to get you anywhere. And I work with a lot of very large e-commerce clients, and they're taking the route of patience. We'll take advantage of it while we still can. but we're going to work with our providers and we're going to work with our partners to find a way to manage what the future is probably going to look like. Because right now, if we're all being honest, nobody knows. And who wants to bet a multi-billion dollar, multi-million dollar, whatever the case may be, line of your services by
Mhm.
maybe overcompensating in a time when panic is probably the last thing you should be focusing on. So I completely agree, Doug. And one thing you mentioned about the air freight, there's going to be opportunity out there for people. Serious opportunity to renegotiate rates, I think, once this all changes as people begin to convert more to ocean freight. So it's just a great time to collaborate with your providers and have a long conversation about what could be out there.
Yeah. Collaborate with partners. Pete, not more than 5 minutes ago, you're about to rip somebody's head off at the American Airlines.
They're not my partners. They don't ask me for any
You're
input.
all over, you're up and
No,
down.
no, they picked me on a middle seat in an overnight flight from LA to DC. They're not my
Oof.
partner. They're not
All
my
right.
partner.
All right. I don't want to get you back into that mode. So let's wrap
Yeah.
this sucker up with your last topic.
So one of my favorite episodes ever in the show was when you dropped BOPIS on me. You said it could be an 80s metal band. It could be a rarely contracted African disease, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's buy online, pick up in store. I was like, oh, I think we right in the middle of COVID when you started talking about
Yeah, it
it.
was.
And
It was.
it makes me think that like I'm a big fan of BOPIS. I'm a real big fan. I'm a big fan of going online for my grocery store, making my entire grocery order. I pull up to Harris Teeter in Virginia, and they open the back of my Jeep. Then it's all there. They just dump it in. It's all paid for. It's ready to go. It is exceedingly rare that they make a mistake. I mean, maybe one out of like 50 times they've ever missed one thing. And I'll tell you what, at Harris Teeter where I go, they send someone to my house and drop it off. It's like, we're really sorry that you forgot your laundry detergent. We'll be there in 10 minutes, right? Like, fabulous. Another place we use a lot, Best Buy, Target, right? I'm a big fan of the trends there. The newest one is this buy in store, deliver at home, or BISDAH, right? Buy in store, deliver at home. So I'm at the Tall and Fat Guy store a couple weeks ago, and I'm buying new dress shirts. And I really liked this Ralph Lauren hoodie, but they didn't have it in my size. So I said to the guy that was helping me out, hey, can you do me a favor and see if I can get it in my size online? He said, oh, absolutely, I can get it in your size online. I said, okay, I can have it there for you in 2 days. And so I paid for it. 2 days later, perfect, shows up, wonderful. And I said to him, how often does this happen? He said, we don't have someone's size. I mean, it happens a lot. I mean, look around you, for God's sake, it's the tall and fat guy store. He said, but that people actually take us up on it, pretty rare. He said, most folks kind of want to try it on. They're concerned that it's not the same quality, whatever the case may be. I was listening to him, but I don't think that that's necessarily across the entire spectrum of retailers. So I started looking online. Turns out that's generally the case. There are some call outs of different like consumer electronics. Apparently, people will, if they take a look at something, if they don't have the exact model, they will have it delivered. But it's pretty rare that people take folks up on this buy-in store, pick up, drop out, and deliver it home model. Um, and I'm wondering if it's a psychological thing, or what the deal is. If people are just impulse shoppers, but it's not happening then. So,
Hmm. Yeah. I
what's your
mean,
what's your take on buy-in store, deliver at home? Is
yeah.
that
Yeah. Well, it's a fun acronym, but I just don't see, like you said, the practicality of it, right? BOPIS. If you remember that episode, that was one of the first ones that you and I did together. I bet it was episode 1 through 10. And
okay?
I think I put a pair of sunglasses on and I think Keenan had like a guitar because I used to do this show in their studio. Anyway, I love that, and I'm glad that you remember it. But buy in store, ship to your house. I like why you went to the store, just put it in your car, right? I don't understand um, kind of how that would work. So, other than a cool acronym, I don't know. It's not going to catch on. In your situation, I get it. You're right there. They don't have what you want. That's the modern day version of layaway, right? But I, I'm going to go into the store, purchase it, have it in my hand, and then say, go ahead and ship it to my house. I don't, it
Yeah, not
doesn't make
exactly.
sense to me.
All
It
right,
doesn't.
Doug, well, take us home, buddy.
All right. Well, that's it. You're in a lobby at the Dolphin Resort somewhere in Florida, and
Mm.
so we got to let you go, man. You're busy, 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 and obviously the last couple episodes of Global Trade this week have been short and sweet. I'm sure some people love to hear that. Some people like our banter. But we can't thank everybody enough for joining us week in and week out. We try to make it entertaining and fun and educational, for lack of a better term. So thanks everybody for joining the show this week. I want to thank Cap Logistics for making this sucker happen. And until next week, there will be a lot of global trade that will transpire in the next 7 days, and we look forward to talking about it, having a forward-looking perspective. And I think that's the longest part of this close, Pete. So I think I'm done.
All right, buddy.
All
We'll
right.
talk to you soon.
Everybody have a great week. Thanks.
Bye now.